couple mornings ago, waiting on the bus.
No, you will let that. Won't be. Those more people along 2 Notch, both in the winter.
Yeah. And
now, and summer.
And see, that's what I was saying. They need a hub on the end of the line on the other side as well.
Well, you can put the bus stops.
Mm-hmm.
You can put the shelter. They got solar powered air conditioning.
So they don't want to cover it.
Because they scared somebody will sleep in it.
Let's be, you know.
Yeah.
I agree with that. There should be a hub out in Northeast Columbia at the end of the line.
Yeah.
So that you can park. If you want me to drive it,
Ride it, yeah.
if you want me to ride it, have a park and drive.
So that's the part about this that I don't understand, and maybe it's just my mindset. I think about not just now, but the future.
Yeah.
And if I'm growing a city where I want people to ride bikes, I want people to walk more, I want people to use public transportation, I've got a plan for that. Not one bus every hour, because nobody can sustain on that. You can't get the work on time.
Okay. I'm just gonna throw this out there because I see the Chinese do it, and I really wanted to know. They have the elevated train. Look, running straight down the main highway, 2 Notch, North Main Street, belt lines. You know, we have long roads. Stick that beast in the middle, or along it, and just run it. And we're built for the future.
So that's what that was all.
But building for the future requires a V word. What's that V word? No, you mean a marble? I mean a marble carrier?
Well, that's the same year when we built the trolley. Oh, it's a money pit, blah, 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 blah. 4 years of paid for it. So.
Yeah.
Now it's expanded out to the
I just don't understand the idea that we don't make things for ourselves.
I couldn't remember the
So for my industry, like as an independent, I always look at trying to make things pay for themselves, right? And so I make a movie. It's not just about that. It's about slaves who will end up paying for it. As an independent, like we just did Pocket Watch, right? We did the release last weekend. We ran it for 2 shows.
Where's my window?
Spotlight.
I know.
And it did well, right? So I can take that same movie and go down to the other theater I'm programming for 2 days. Right?
But you have the
Before we
Jim
start
has a meeting.
spending more money out of our pocket, it's another thing.
9:30.
It's simple. It's you gotta have a vision and you gotta plan. You don't stress. Unfortunately, I have to see him.
You're just in it for the fun, right?
Okay.
Good.
One
That
thing.
works for me. Yeah, really.
But
That
they
works
want
for
to
me.
add. And one of the representatives was like, "We got that much money."
I just met Al here, and he has a marketing company.
It was just like,
And I was telling him marketing is a huge thing that we're always looking
that's
for.
what I read. Those are great players.
Oh,
What?
okay. Yeah.
We've been business for 7 years. This is year 8.
Talking about how they use a piece of
Yeah, I'm
legislation
sure to learn about Al.
to repeat the fact that the PLC tax. I saw that. But there's a
That's great.
right. Off the street.
I forgot that you did marketing.
Texas has no state.
There are other states that no state.
Yeah, but I'm saying let's go with one thing. You choose the population. Apparently,
That's like we raised out of better required.
You got a new public judge.
We already
Actually, my house
I'm currently living right now in upgrade, but it's online.
was cheaper. Would have been in taxes was cheaper than here.
Our taxes are huge here, and not only
Raise fees talking about.
think about it, you get taxed in the city. You can go by.
It is different. It's a lot cheaper to
I
pay.
get
No, I started on the school in North Carolina. That's where my business started. We're raised in South Carolina, so that means a lot to me.
So
So basically, if you're a small business, you come to us and you do everything. The trademark, LLC, website design, and we did that. When I first started, I had 20 different places. All the team, it's all together.
No. I said we don't have any.
Look, I'm gonna make you safe.
I do with all the small business.
My client out there, one dollar.
I do some work in India.
So I didn't know until yesterday.
it's just a shared young time.
Talk shop, right?
Absolutely.
You went on the YouTube channel. It's about marketing.
Some people,
Because I really don't talk marketing all day long.
Of course,
That's what I'm saying.
Rob's got himself up on the feet, got a good job.
don't leave.
It's just featuring. Yeah,
I wouldn't even buy. Pay him off the back.
He can't afford that. He a fool.
Yeah. 750.
I said let's roll on. He had to get me 50%.
Alright. Because he Floyd said,
I was saying, I need another female to come up.
That time off, it goes outside. So,
yes, sir.
or not the lady,
So you can tell that's a retired person.
because I was like,
Oh, yeah. You can need that person day off.
You know what would be cool?
For everybody's office, I have to see like computers and all of that stuff.
Well, Rob,
Just to get the numbers off the computer or whatnot.
Like this.
I know they said zero the wrong way. Yeah.
And see, I can make that. You know, because Dad got family. This is a brick house.
They don't even use it.
I know,
You got a special order on the brick house. They built some beautiful houses over there on North Brickyard.
I'm taking a tour.
You know what I mean?
The yellow one?
Yeah.
Oh, yeah. That thing was on 2 acres. I didn't realize it was on 2 acres. That's what I was trying to tell you. Call her if you want to shoot in there. Because she can't sell that house.
So it's my son.
You didn't notice that house ain't sold? They might, if you ever have a need for a house, yeah.
So I did it for about 11 years.
11 months. 11 months.
As I said, think about
So,
that's a luxury home.
I almost wish I would still do
So
it.
that real
That
estate
sounds really
agent
weird,
has a
but
listing of
I at least still take pictures.
luxury home buyers.
Yeah.
Why wouldn't an artist give the real a pop-up show from the house of their work?
So I still want
They instantly, oh, we tried that
Oh,
10, 12 years ago, it don't work.
to at least.
Just because it didn't work then, don't mean it won't work now. You know, why do we don't, you know, they come up with this, they really want the people to come to them.
I just put what I'm doing.
I was sending names
So how do you feel at the time? Like,
and I was chatting with
at the time, so
on the like margin, I was putting the name of my client in their picture. And that was one thing. Right.
Good morning, sir. How are you?
How's the time? Busier than ever?
First year of retirement was an eye opener.
Yeah?
Sure is.
That's what I usually hear. It's good you had stuff lined up.
No, it's not today.
Been since when you got a whole bunch of time on your hands.
I know, right?
You get volunteered to do a lot of stuff.
Yeah.
Better volunteer than volunteer.
No, thank you.
Yeah.
It wasn't on the calendar.
You know, why come together and complain?
Carolyn said something for January. No, not for state.
They don't really want it. They don't want it.
Oh, 3 days.
Yeah, so it's not state.
Okay, so you guys didn't.
Not next
Maybe on my calendar though.
state organization.
Okay. But for you,
It's not
Art press.
for you.
Oh, good, so you got a leave it.
But I haven't seen it.
That's too much like
She put new dates in the calendar. So
I might
new
need
dates.
Yeah, I might need to leave.
So just pause
check.
pause for a second. So you guys are leaving. You're leaving this day.
Yeah, so Wi-Fi.
I'm more nervous for people I'm not. There's something easier about strangers.
It's always nice to see familiar faces for sure.
I mean, I had to speak at the Lexington Chamber on Monday. So that's what you all done. Okay, it's just, you know,
Nice, I didn't know that.
he heard me twice. He was here both times.
Yes, I was there on Monday.
I was in 1 week.
I was trying to blame him today. I'm sorry.
What's it again?
Tom, you know Kiki?
We've had like this fast track. During COVID, I was in class during COVID. Do you remember? Look, we started in class, and then like the second or third week, we had to go stop.
Oh,
Yeah, out there, and then I had the same thing going on in Newberry also.
okay, there.
You see all those out of
That should be very
Is
hard.
that when Nancy was up there?
And we mentioned last,
Talking to us first and letting us know what their prices change.
shut us down, shut everything down, college shut down. Piedmont Tech's building up there that we were using there in Newberry closed. They take a couple of weeks and we'll get everything together. We're all back up in person. And then it was okay. Yeah, we shut down on Friday. March.
Okay, so on 185.
Spring break, us and USC, everybody all the same time. President shut everything down, taking off on Monday. And, that afternoon, USC announced the second week of spring break. 1 week. We were supposed to be splitting every president on the main Bibles institution that they were doing virtual.
Let me call Tim.
That disease is all right.
The problem I had was I didn't find a Zoom shot.
Oh, yep. Got a crystal ball, right?
I'll get called in the next.
Oh wow.
Yeah, for sure. We had a crystal ball on it. All these other places.
So 30.
30 minutes or less?
Yes.
Okay.
Oh, it's normally 6 minutes, but since this is a session, a learning session, if you need the time, take the time. But if you don't need the time, you want to open up to Q&A, I feel free.
I don't do less than that, so.
There you go. We haven't stuck to 6 minutes in so long.
6 minutes, sure.
I can't even get going in 6 minutes. My voice just starts to warm up.
Right?
You government people know
Government people. I haven't been called that before. I like it.
Yeah. Where was the federal government? We're here to
Yes, there you go. No, the original format was 2 speakers per meeting, 6 minutes each and 20 minutes of Q&A for each one. So think about it, that still comes in under an hour.
Yeah.
Back then, my first time doing that, I actually made it under, I think, 5. You just cut off all the unnecessary stuff.
Very concise, like a poet.
Yeah. And I think it's a great exercise. Somebody sent me a slide presentation last Friday, who I wish adhered to that. They're still working on the slide presentation, and they're up to 48 for a presentation. And I'm like, my God, why? And you read 48. You know.
Well, only 20.
Oh, the most I've seen is 300 and something.
Here?
No.
The slides?
It's so funny because in advertising, every department, if it's a pitch to the client, every department makes their slides and then submits them to the creators for the organizing and everything. And you can always tell when an art director screams. He's like, I just got 60 slides from strategy. Okay. Let's call strategy and tell them they get 4. And amazingly it works. What they do is they put things on slides expecting folks to read them. But there really should be points that you talk off.
We're only capable of doing kind of one thing at a time.
Yeah.
Listening or reading.
We'll be back for a second. 3 minutes.
Okay. Greetings, countrymen, Roman, wizards, and muggles. Today we start, today's January 15th. If you haven't signed in with the QR code, check it out, check it out. They keep up with the numbers. I'm working on that greeting, it sounded better on the phone.
It sounded pretty good. I like that you do it in one. I'm there for it.
Like always, our mission to lower the barrier of access to education, resources, and connection for all types of new, seasoned, and inspiring entrepreneurs throughout the U.S. Our key pillars is presentations, not pitches, authentic connections, not networking, radically and intentionally inclusive, run for the community, by the community. Here are our amazing sponsors who do the work around here. Of course, like, we don't get paid for it, but we constantly don't have all put a little here and there. Like in the back, we have coffee and donuts and cinnamon buns if you guys would like. Our local program is 10+ years, held weekly on Wednesday mornings. Over 500 entrepreneurs have presented. We're looking for presenters. Remember, this is not a sales pitch, not an investor's pitch, but the goal is to have people come and understand and tell your story of who you are and, reach out for help for the people in the room. This is our private Facebook page, if you guys want to join that. This is our upcoming speakers on January 22nd. January 22nd. February 12th is what we have lined up, so you guys want to slide in. Tell us your story and we'll reach out for help for the people inside. Today we have the amazing Robyn Marren. She'll be speaking on what she does here at SBDC as her business consultant.
I would love to stand up because I'll get on my nervous energy now if I can stand, but I think I need to sit because I gotta push the.
Or you just you want somebody to push it for you?
Well, I have so many different bullet points, like everyone in my. Well, let's try. Let's try, Kiki. My friend Kiki's here.
We gotta do this.
You get a direct line to this, it should.
Is somebody here?
Yeah.
That's not yours. Who is from the SBDC, Small Business Development Center? Okay, about half the room. Well, almost everyone. Well, while they're getting that together, just a small, I'd much rather stand up and walk around than sitting down. Okay. So just a little bit about me and my background. I am currently a consultant with the Small Business Development Center. Before that, I was the director of finance at the law school at the University of South Carolina. I went out to California for a while. I decided my kids were grown. I was an empty nester. I decided to go out and have some fun in California. So I was a director of business operations in Berkeley in the San Francisco area. So before that, Chief Operations Director at Lenore Ryan University Lutheran Seminary. I'd gone to seminary, thought I was going to be a pastor, and then instead became, God keeps using me in business. It's funny, I went to seminary and thought I was going to be a pastor, and God keeps using me in business instead. So, and then was in corporate before that. So, next slide. This is when I was in the San Francisco area. I love to fish. Oh my gosh. If I could do something all the time for fun, it would be fishing. So in the San Francisco area, I paid to go on this fishing, tour, and I had to be there at 4:30 in the morning, and I didn't know anyone, and I didn't know where I was going. It was kind of terrifying, and I think I was the only woman on this boat. There was 8 other men. Finally, another woman came, but look at these fish I caught. And this actually was a shark, a tiny little shark, and they threw it back. They threw it back. But when they caught that little tiny shark, I was not going to touch it. And the tour guy was like, he's like, you got to take a picture with it. And I was like, I'm not going to touch it. So he actually showed me how to hold it. He's like, no, come over here. And so he actually got it down, he had a way. And I was so glad that I got that picture with that shark. So that for years from now, I'll have that picture. I was so excited. So I love fishing. That's what I do when I'm not consulting. So love fishing. Next slide. So I am also a small business owner. So I understand the highs and lows of being a small business owner. This is my husband, Brian, and we own Town Square Painting. And starting a small business is hard. I get it. We started Town Square Painting many years ago, started in Illinois. My husband was in the collectibles business, and his worked for someone else for many years, and his business closed. And so he had to go just start a business in the middle of winter in Chicago. And so I still remember him walking through the snow, handing out, the little door things. And I was his accountant, so I understand the highs and lows of starting a business. All right, next slide. So I'm going to talk today about, go back one. I'm going to talk today about the SBDC, Small Business Development Center. How many people feel like we live in a world of acronyms? Oh my God, acronyms everywhere. And I feel like it's, and for some companies, acronyms are kind of like their own secret language, right? Like if I'm ever in another company, it's like acronyms everywhere. So I'm going to try really hard today not to kill you with acronyms. So if I do, please, just do timeout, Robyn acronym or whatever, but SBDC, Small Business Development Center. All right, so our mission is pretty simple, and I love it, to advance South Carolina's economic development by helping entrepreneurs grow successful businesses. Pretty simple, right? Advance South Carolina's economic development by helping entrepreneurs grow successful businesses. Oh, and I forgot to say, I have Cliff, Kiki, and Jim, who are also with SBDC. So, anyone else? So 3 other consultants in the room. If I miss anything, please stop me. And Jim has been around a really long time, so please add to, or again, this time out, it will not offend me if I need to add anything. All right. Who we are. We are a nationwide network of approximately 1,000 centers. We're established in 1979. Oh my gosh, I had never heard of the SBDC. I started a year ago, and I had never heard of the SBDC before, but we were around a long time, 1979. 21 centers across the state, and a little bit we're going to look at the map towards the end of my presentation. We're going to see where we are. We offer individual, confidential business consulting at no cost. So free, no cost. Who likes free? Who likes no cost? Yes. And we have over 50 highly trained consultants, and we assist both existing, if you have a business that's been around a long time, and if you have a company that you're just starting, if you just have an idea, right? Both of those. And we operate under the SBA, or Small Business Administration. So what we do, we offer individual, confidential consulting, and I'm always really careful when I first meet with a client to say, this is confidential. We're looking at people's tax returns sometimes. We're helping them put together financial statements. We're asking them questions, so we're really careful. It's confidential. We don't share this information. And really, really hold that. And it's at no cost. And it's one-on-one, right? So we're not offering, we do offer group training, but when we meet with you to talk about your business, it's one-on-one. We offer lots of workshops and seminars. If you go to our website, you will see a list of, I think in January maybe we had 15 or something. There were lots of workshops. Most of them are on Zoom, and you can do them on your lunch hour, but there are some that are in person. Referrals and joint services with service partners, so we can refer you to a CPA, that type of thing. And then lots of tools, resources, and information. And I just met a marketing guy. I'm so excited. Yeah, we can refer you to someone an expert in marketing. Who do we serve? You do marketing too?
Oh, I was just waving at someone.
Oh. Well, that's one of the great things about coming here, right? Is that we meet and we find out who does what, and then we can refer you. And then Cliff, has done 40 years of marketing as well. So finding out who those experts are and then referring. Who do we serve? We serve for-profit. We've had some nonprofits come to us, and we say, we'd love to help you, but that's just not our niche. We don't do nonprofits. So we would refer nonprofits to SCORE. And SCORE, as you know, is a wonderful organization. Established businesses, both established businesses. So we have some businesses that have been around for many, many years, and those that are starting a brand new business. So again, I'm in my first year. I just finished my first year. The vast majority of the people that I've worked with are women, mostly women, a lot of African American women, and they just have a business idea. A lot of them are just coming to me and they're saying, I have this great idea. And so I'm just helping them, you know, set up an LLC, put their financials together, you know, just get off the ground. So starting a new business. And we do all industry segments throughout South Carolina. What services do we offer? Business planning. So this is huge, right? I think some people want to get what's that saying, get the cart before the horse? I know that's kind of an old saying. But you gotta plan. If you're gonna start a business, you really have to plan. And so writing your business plan, because I think a lot of people might be good at, some people might be good at the marketing, or they might be good at the manufacturing of their product, but they don't realize that there's all these other things to run a business. You got to be good at, you know, marketing. You got to be good at the accounting. You got to be good at, you know, social media. So business planning helps you understand all the different parts of running a business. So what we do is we kind of help slow you down, slow someone down, and help you understand all the different parts of running a business. So that business planning, how are you going to structure your business structure? Do you want it to be a corporation? Do you want it to be an LLC, a limited liability? So helping you think through that and setting that up. We can refer you to an attorney, a CPA. We're quick to say that we're not attorneys. We're not CPAs. I do have an accounting background. I am an MBA, so I have a lot of experience, but I'm not a CPA. And so we can refer you when needed. Financial management, I do want to talk about this a little bit. Most, and Jimmy might have some thoughts on this, but a lot of entrepreneurs, again, are good at, you know, they have these great ideas and they're really good at generating business ideas, but they hate the accounting part, right? They don't want to, I was with a friend last night and she's a business owner, and she's like, I just don't want to deal with all that accounting stuff, all those number stuff. And so when I'm with some of my clients, I try to break it down and make it simple for them. So what I do is I open up a spreadsheet and I just start asking them questions. So I'll say, okay, how many widgets can you sell? How many widgets do you think you'll sell this month? And they'll say, okay, I think I can sell 20. Okay, so I'll put that in the spreadsheet. Well, how much do you charge for each of your widgets? I charge $7, so okay, 20 times 7. Okay, that's your revenue, right? And then okay, and then go down to the other part of the spreadsheet. What are your expenses? Okay, how much is your rent? How much do you pay for your website? So I just start asking them questions about their expenses. How much do you travel every month? And just start asking, and then filling out their expenses section, right? And then at the end of that, when you take your revenue, and I know I'm making it very simplistic, but I think for some people, they need it to kind of be broken down like that. Mm-hmm. And then when you take, you know, how much money you're making, and you subtract what your expenses are, then you come up with either what?
Hopefully not a negative number.
Right. Right. You're either in the black or you're in the red. Right? It's that simple. And so, but for some of our clients, they need that. And that's okay. I'm willing to do that because so many of the entrepreneurs in this room and others are that's just not their thing. And so let me do that. Let me be the accountant for you. That's part of what we do. Loan applications, we'll get you ready to meet with the banker. We will get you ready to meet with someone to help give you money. And so for loan referrals, we can either connect you with a bank or what we call a CDFI, Community Development Financial Institutions. I want to talk about that quickly. Next slide. Have you guys heard of CDFIs? A couple of you? I think a lot of people, when they think of loans, they instantly think of banks. And what do you think of when you think of a bank?
High interest.
Okay, high interest. Yes, absolutely. What else when you...
Not interested.
Not interested, yeah. Collateral. Yeah, getting turned away, right? Credit, your credit score, all that kind of stuff. I mean, do you think of friendly when you think of banks necessarily? And I hope there's not any bankers in here. So anyway,
I like you holding your breath. Hopefully they say yes.
Yes. Yes, like you want to have holding your breath. So, CDFI is a little bit of a friendlier, right? It's a friendlier lending institution. It's a community development financial institution. So we have the Climb Fund is one of them. I'm going to talk about three. So the Climb Fund has been lending to small business owners who struggle to secure traditional financing for going on 45 years. They especially focus on supporting Black, Indigenous, and people of color owned, women-owned, and veteran-owned small businesses, as well as businesses located in rural areas. And this is their website. And then the second CDFI is the City of Columbia Office of Business Opportunities. The only thing about this one is you have to be within Columbia city limits. They're very specific about that. And then we have, is there any thoughts about that? Any comments? Okay. And the last one we have is JEDA. For more than 40 years, the South Carolina Jobs Economic Development Authority has been committed to connecting South Carolina's businesses with funding opportunities needed to advance economic growth in healthcare. So this one only does healthcare, education, manufacturing, and solid waste. But these are good to know about, so we can help connect you with a CDFI. If a bank is not, if you've been turned down by a bank, or you just don't want to go necessarily to a bank. Okay, other services we offer. Operations and HR systems, bless you. Marketing plans and strategies. Marketing is the number one question I get. I have a business, I don't know how to market it. I have a business, I don't know how to let people know about my business. I have a business, I don't know how to increase my sales. Number one thing. And I'm an accountant, so I have a few marketing ideas, but again, I just met the gentleman who knows about marketing, and I have another consultant, Cliff, who did it for 40 years. So the great thing about the SBDC is we can pull in other resources. So if I'm meeting with a client, I can pull in Cliff, who knows a lot about marketing, and we can help you with marketing. Marketing is the number one. Who in here would say that's probably their issue? Yeah. How do I sell my product? So the SBDC has some experts. We have some marketing experts where we can help you think through your marketing for sure. Website, social media, strategic planning, sales and growth strategies. Okay. To make sure you're staying awake, I want to show you my puppy Luna. This is Luna. We found Luna when she was on the streets of Eau Claire. I used to work for the Lutheran Seminary. You guys familiar with the Lutheran Seminary down in? And little Luna had been kicked around around the streets, and so she was like 7 pounds. We found her, and sweet little Luna, we adopted her. So go back just for a second. So just to make sure you're staying awake, and you know there's actually research that says when you're listening to a presentation with a lot of information, if you see a cute puppy or something in the middle, it actually kind of wakes you back up, and it actually helps you to kind of like it reinvigorates you. So I thought I'd throw Luna in there just to make sure that you're awake, and I think I'm getting close to the end. So those were services before. These are specialty services, minority-owned businesses. Again, I work primarily with African-American owned and women-owned businesses, veteran, procurement and government contracting. And again, I'm not the government expert, but we have consultants. We have 50 consultants in the state of South Carolina and that I can access. And we have one that specializes in government. So we have lots of people that I can access who are experts. So we have an expert in government, we have an expert in international, and and veterans, and I can, reach out to them. Manufacturing, product and technology commercialization, referrals. And then our food systems guy was just sitting here, Jim Johnson. You guys know Jim? He was our, yeah. He does restaurants, food trucks, he's great. He's been around a long time. So we have connected with Jim Johnson and cybersecurity. So what is the impact of SBDC? How have we made an impact in the state? So we've been around since 1979. Well, in 2022, and I don't know if we have new numbers. Kiki, do you know if we have new? Yeah, the latest numbers I have, we've helped in 2022, and again, I know that was a couple years ago, we helped 4,693 people, 2,455 jobs were created and retained, 206 new businesses, 128.7 million in financing. That's how we help people get financing, right? We connected you with a lender, either a bank or a CDFI, to get financing, and 113.7 million in sales increase. Those are businesses that we helped increase your sales. That's impressive. Okay, here's our locations. So we're broken up in regions. So obviously I am in the USC region in the center. Our regions are based around universities, Clemson, SC State, Winthrop. But then we have 21 centers. You see these squares and dots. So we have 21. And so even very rural parts of the state, and we really believe that even someone that, hard to believe, but if someone didn't have a computer, that they could go to their local library and they could meet with a consultant to build their business. So we really believe that everyone's entitled to build a business. So it's pretty amazing that we have that many locations and 50 consultants throughout the state. All right. So we'd love to help you. There's our website. Signing up only takes about 10 minutes to sign up. And I think the next one is my information.
Could you go back 1 second? Thank you.
Yeah.
Okay, I'm good.
All right. What questions? Yeah.
I think you have a great SBDC up here in Columbia. I just want to say that first. I've seen some of their, as I mentioned before, some of their, this is a great one. It's always been in Columbia. But, okay, you help other businesses for free. Where does SBDC get their funding?
Great question. Where do we get our funding? It's a combination of the SBA, the Small Business Administration, and then the universities which we're attached to. So the University of South Carolina, and then I think the state government. So it's a combination of those three. Cliff, and you're good. That's okay. Yeah. Great question. Yeah.
Going back to financial management, do you all help people with building business credit? Do you talk about that at all? Building business credit, is that part of the financial management?
Building business credit. That is a great question. And a lot of people who come to us that have lower credit, yeah. Either one of you have thoughts on that?
So I think we've had trainings in the past for building business credit, but I'm not sure if anyone specializes in that.
Yeah.
That's an important piece of it.
Yes.
Very important. And it's something we don't necessarily take that on, but we guide some people towards that. Because sometimes the best advice is to strengthen your credit before you do anything else. Because sometimes it's the best move. I think the other piece is that I think you touched upon just briefly was people need money, right? And a lot of people come to us looking for loans and for grants, and the SBDC does not provide that, and neither does the SBA. But they we can guide them to banks that are guaranteed by the SBA. Now it's not loans, so it's important that you know there's a distinction there. That you can't. I don't know how many times we've had people come to us looking for that, and we have to tell them that we don't do that. And you're right, banks are tough. You know, it's a certain way, prove to them you need the money, and they'll say no. And when you say, I don't need the money, they can't wait to give it to you. So the trick is that when you're doing well, go get yourself a line of credit.
Yeah.
The line I heard, I mentioned it on Monday when we were at that meeting from banks, is banks are institutions that will give you an umbrella when it's sunshine outside,
There you go.
and then want it back when it's raining.
And that's just part of the business model, and you have to be aware of that, and you have to figure out how to work around it. Because there's ways around it.
Well,
And there are bankers who will help you out.
And our experience has been, I know your experience has been this way too, for the first 3 years of the business, if you start a business, banks don't pay any attention to what the business is doing.
That's right.
If they're gonna loan you money, they're gonna loan money to you,
Yes.
not the business.
Oh, I know. I
So what
see
you
that.
said, I think what you said is right. The best way you could be prepared to deal with the bank is to have taken steps on your credit, and that personal
I
credit.
think part of that also
Already.
though is to leverage if you're gonna leverage your personal credit to make sure that you are establishing business credit. And I think that goes to more what he's asking.
Yeah.
Is that establishing that business credit is really the way that you do that is fairly simple by opening accounts in your business name with vendors and suppliers that will report to the credit bureau for your business. And so we're talking about something as simple as Staples, Uline, Sam's, places that Costco, places that you can do business with as your business that report to the credit bureau that will start to get you into. And this, what we learned was you had to go and get a DUNS number and all these other things to start to do that stuff first. And then you'll be able to establish a line of credit for your business with you as a guarantor, your personal credit as a guarantor, but it is tied to your business. So the steps that you must take are to first establish that relationship with your business and another business that is going to report on your business's credit worthiness.
Okay, but let me ask you.
One question is, how do you track that to a degree that, okay, I'm making progress, solid progress, then, after 3 or 4 or 5 years, I should have enough business credit where I don't have to rely on my own personal credit. I can go to an organization and say, I got good business credit, I need to do these things. So, okay, good, you're good to go. But a lot of people, how do you track that? Okay, I'm sorry.
No, go ahead, Trini.
So you track that. There's a couple groups out there that specifically track your business credit. I think NAB is one. There's a couple other ones. You subscribe to them. They will tell you. I get it every morning. There's been another thing on your business account, and it tells you what your score is. Once you get to a certain place, you're going to get what's called a paydex score. That paydex score will tell you if I can now go and get business credit. But you have to be vigilant about making sure that the things are paid on time and your report is reporting the way it needs to. It's not a hard process. It's a process that requires your attention.
But a bigger question. It's so funny y'all answered the need. But his bigger question was, where do I go to get this information?
That's right.
And
I just gave it to you.
yeah, you just gave it to him, but when you open up your office, doctor. See? That's the big question for organizations in Columbia is who's teaching this? He asked it. It's so funny, we can answer your question in this room, but nobody's teaching the answers to this question in them, or maybe.
Yeah, which
Tom,
that brings me to the point of in-person workshops.
Yeah.
There are a lot of webinars out there that we can join for all of these topics. Yes, and the Small Business Development Center has like a list of webinars that you can join online for all different kinds of topics. But if the local office could do more in-person workshops for the topics that we need, like business credit or how to write a P&L, how to write an expenses form, that would be really useful for all of us.
I'm going to throw this out, and if the room wants it, then we as organizers may have to do it. Yeah, we can put one of these together for you.
Absolutely.
we just need to know the room wants it.
Yeah.
Why invite somebody who's gonna spend their time to give this information and nobody shows up?
Yeah. Which we've had, which
Yeah.
we've done.
So I mean, I'm there now. If this room wants that, then one of our educational sessions, or maybe two, maybe we have to go 2 weeks. Because this is a drawn out process. There are questions. If that's the case, then maybe we do that.
One thing I will say, there's one gentleman that I've attended a lot of different trainings and heard business credit, and most of it is a lot of fluff. But John Gathers, he's still here.
He does.
So that's one of the gentlemen that I actually attended one of his events, and he knows business credit inside and out. And having a financial background, I've seen a lot of. He's really good. So he knows.
So maybe we'll look at seeing if we can get him to come and do a learning session.
And I want to say quickly too that the SBDC puts out a lot of events, the SBA does, and sometimes people don't show up, and that's like it's almost like a waste of time sometimes, and a lot of like the SBDC and SBA, they're starting to put a price tag on it so that people can show up, because if you pay, you're going to show up, so that's the thing. It's a lot of events that go on around the city, these people just don't show up, and then sometimes they don't know about it too.
Well, there's that marketing piece.
Yeah, that's what it is.
But also I've attended a lot of SBDCs, I have done them in the last year. And I think people have got burned out, and they don't show up because a lot of times the information is like people saying, look. So I think we need to go back to the drawing board, like we talking about, we're teaching our students that it's a different kind of environment. And we're doing the same thing over and over and getting no results.
Well, but there's a flip side to business credit also. One is having the work done to get in the door to sit and talk to somebody. The other one's getting out the door with money, right? And so you can have all the prep done, everything you want to have done up the front door. But if you don't conduct yourself in the meeting with the banker as a knowledgeable business owner, they come up and say, "Who's your competition?" "Oh, this product is wonderful." It's file 13. All right, start all over. Save yourself the money and start all over again. But I think there are a couple of phases of what we need to take a look at there, and that is front door qualification. You walk into any bank, you are qualified if you have this on a scale of 1 to 10, and in all these categories. But the other one is, you got to be ready to answer the questions, because if you're in those interviews and they're answering questions, you don't have answers, you lose.
What that reminds me to, though, that is the fear of everybody starting a business, that they don't know enough, they don't have all the information. And so sometimes, again, do your research, do your due diligence, but sometimes if you don't know an answer, just say, "I don't know." Can you point me in the direction to find that? See, we say "I don't know," and then we leave it there. We have to take this next step and say, "I'm willing to learn. Where do I need to go to find this information so I can have the information that you're looking for?"
Yeah, if you ask that question, you say you don't know, but you start acting like you know, you just flipped off the line of bullshit. All right, and a financial person is going to sniff that in a heartbeat. They don't have
once again,
you don't have the knowledge you need to ask me for money.
There's also the resources that we're talking about. I need to know a list that's friendly, black friendly. And I say that because I've had the deputy sheriff's call on me twice for just depositing checks in Columbia. So before anybody tells me it don't happen, I was sitting at 2 Notch and Polo Road at Bank of America looking at 2 deputy sheriffs over a $22,000 check I was putting in the bank account. I've had clients call.
Yeah.
I can't even get, so I need to know where I can go where I'm not facing Richland County or the city of Columbia. See, if they call the police for me depositing my check,
What's gonna happen when I come to try?
I know never to go to that branch for a loan.
Well, but that was a government check that you had whitewashed.
Actually, it's the reason why, I'll tell you that story about why I keep a Texas number, because that client would not call the state of South Carolina. And she she had come to Myrtle Beach and had a bad experience with her biracial grandchild. And she told me, if you move your ad agency to South Carolina, I will with it. Yeah. We gonna keep it clean. But the look on the deputies' faces when they called her from a South Carolina number, I said, put it on speakerphone. Because I want to hear this, because Grace is an older white woman who's grown up around in the airline industry, and she clicked and she said, why are you calling me from a South Carolina number? I said, it ain't me. It's the deputies. And she ripped them coming and going. They were like, oh, we'll take you off. No, leave them on speakerphone. I need everybody to hear this. But what I'm saying is, even though I had a personal banker in Dallas, moved my account to Columbia, South Carolina with the same balance, never a personal banker. And the banks in Dallas didn't wait for me to ask for a personal banker. When I hit a certain amount of money, they went, you need a personal banker as a business. I didn't switch banks, it's Bank of America. I'm gonna name them. I get to Columbia, no personal banker. The second time they called the police on me for an $80,000 check, after I made them eat their everything, then they go, oh, have you considered, I told them, a personal banker. Why should I? And what we don't do is we give this advice out in this community without realizing that for some of us, it's a hazard to go to a bank. I mean, I gotta keep Bank of America because of where my clients are. I need somebody big. It's no better with Wells Fargo. We know what Wells Fargo's like.
I'm in Wells Fargo.
Yeah.
They called the cops on me.
So what we need also is the resource. See, folks go, well, you just weren't prepared for the loan. No, I went in with six figures sitting in my bank account and a good credit rating. And I don't qualify. But what I did to get the money, I didn't qualify here in South Carolina. I called my personal banker back in Dallas and said, hey, can you get me this line of credit? I shouldn't have to do that. But we should also be teaching people the organizations that don't require that. But you had a list of them up. Yeah. Those lists we don't hear about too often.
More importantly, everybody doesn't have the resource or connections to do that.
Yes.
And so once something like that happens, you're soured on like, well, where do I go? What do I do? Who do I turn to? And that just facilitates this. I
they'll never bank with
anyone.
anyone.
Never bank with anyone. I keep
And
my
in
money
line
in the
with
mattress.
what he said, you guys just have one Chase Bank here.
It's 2 to 7.
Or now,
Yeah.
excuse me. Now you got 3. But Chase in Columbia, South Carolina is different than Chase Manhattan.
Yeah.
That's why I keep my New York number, because I have Chase Manhattan, and like he said, I didn't want that whole issue once I'm coming to the South now and I see. So, I mean, we can be real about it, or it's now 2025, and let's start being more honest and be more transparent with even if they're getting free consulting, or it's a workshop, or it's a webinar, or whatever. We have to start, because Chase Manhattan in Columbia is not going to be the same Chase Manhattan name in Manhattan that I'm used to. So, I mean, and as a business owner, even though I started my business when I was down here in the South, I noticed it was a whole lot different. And they were like, oh, you're a New Yorker, you're this, because they still had my original home record from when I joined the military, which is a New York address, and New York telephone number, and New York everything.
Tom, you had to
Just a question about something I saw you here, the Climb Fund. All right. When you look at and these are loans, right? And I agree with what you're saying. There's forget grants, right? If you're a business person, grants may happen, but that's not something you can count on. But a business loan from Climb Fund, what are their typical terms and conditions and amounts that they're dealing with? Are they smaller? Is it 5 to 10? Is it 50 to 100? Who would be a candidate for a Climb Fund application?
They're on the same floor.
She's pulling it up. I'm not sure. You know, top.
It's smaller.
Yeah.
It is.
But you know, most of us are never gonna need $1 million line of credit. And if you do, well, you do. I think that does. That's a different creature, y'all.
Wants to make his big move.
Yeah.
That's a big
The
move.
rest of us,
Our young man here is making golf apparel. And,
oh yeah.
he can use a line of credit, you know,
Yeah.
to expand into several different areas.
Yeah, that was a question I kind of had. When you have a purchase order ready, do you guys know if that's different? Is there a different kind of, if you're getting a loan for a purchase order rather than just a loan,
Right.
is that different? 'Cause I don't know. I haven't done it. I haven't started to do it, but I am planning on doing that within the next few months.
It depends on two things: who you're going to for it and who the purchase order is from.
Yep.
If the purchase order is from a big enough corporation, it's validation.
And it's collateral.
Yeah, it's
towards
collateral.
a line of credit that you
Yeah,
want to
so you can possibly do that, but you have to pick a bank that actually is, as far as business is concerned, that recognizes what that purchase order is. Because once a purchase order is assigned, it's a contract. And some people don't see it like that. So you may have to do some shopping for it, but you can find a couple of banks in town.
When you do that, be careful. A lot of people want to take your accounts receivable, have access to your account to take money out of it at their whim. So be careful.
Yeah.
The terms of getting that. Make sure you may have to consult with someone to read over the terms of that loan to make sure that the bank isn't taking over your account.
Yeah, there are a couple of banks that will require on that line of credit, they want like daily draws or weekly draws out of your account. You just really need to go over the terms of and conditions that you're signing on to. Because they're gonna go, oh yeah, we'll do it, no problem. And then when you get behind the gate, it's like, so about our daily money, right? And it adds up.
The best advice I can give you on that is either get a financial person or an accountant who understands those things and can take you through it. And there's some really good accounting firms that are also financial planning in Columbia. You know, so you can get somebody. You should have an accountant. If you can't get an accountant full time, get an accountant part time, folks. But you need that relationship with the person, because most of us are financial idiots.
Well,
Business
except
wise.
Robyn, she's not a financial idiot. That's her strength.
Yeah.
Her strength is finance.
I don't have any accountants on my team, but I do have attorneys, so we do contract reading. If you guys know that, that's a part.
I did want to say, client fund, you have to have a decline letter from a bank. So if you go to the bank and they decline you, you can actually take that letter and also the other documents that they request to client fund, and they can help you. Most of these CDFIs, they, like say for instance, if you're, I'm gonna say a restaurant, if you're a restaurant, you know, banks usually don't blend to restaurants, especially during this time after COVID or whatnot. So you would utilize the CDFI to get bank funding. And so, you know, you have to make sure that all your ducks are in a row, whereas your document, your bank documents, you have P&L, you have all that information for them, and that decline letter, and you take it to them, and they, you know, can help you or whatnot. I know South Carolina Community Loan Fund, they do not, they don't ask for a bank declination letter.
Well, we can help you we'll help get you ready to meet with the client fund. We'll make sure all your documents are ready.
Yeah, so the thing about loans is you have to pay them back.
That's right.
There are other ways of getting money, and that is to get people to give you money. GoFundMe, Kickstarter, all of that. I would love to learn more about the pros and cons of those platforms or organizations as well, because it's not all in the positive.
It's not easy either. So don't. I would say that don't believe the hype on most of those things. Most things don't get funded. First off, you are leveraging your personal context most of the time on one of those platforms. So you're only going to be as good as the network that you currently have, and they already know about you.
Yeah.
So the people that are uniquely successful on Kickstarter, crowdfunder, Indiegogo, any of those kind of things, are people that can get outside of their own network and they're putting together a team that has multiple networks that layer on top of each other. And the second part of the success funnel for those things is having money, knowing that money is already coming. You have already spoke to someone, they've guaranteed that they're going to give you $30,000. Tell them to hold on to that money until, if you're running a crowdfunding campaign, you tell them to hold on to that money because it acts as a push. When people see you're being successful, you're getting enough money already, then they want to give. People want to give to things that are successful. But if you got $5 on that whole crowdfunding, you're down to the last couple of hours, nobody's giving you money because they've validated that it's invalid, that something is not working.
And there are fees involved,
Yep,
and
correct.
you know, it all still goes back to the same old thing. Is your business plan solid?
Mm-hmm.
And so is it better just to ask the people you already know for money?
You know, it's a way to pull everything that you have into one place. It's a way to get on social media and do something and create awareness. But I think that the bigger part of that is if the people that you can come in contact with every day already aren't supporting you the way that you want to be supported, they're not going to go on. They won't even like the crowdfunding campaign. They won't share it to the people. You understand what I'm saying?
Yeah,
So
yeah.
You have to incentivize them in real life
Yeah.
to get them to do the things on social media that you need.
So it's a whole nother marketing.
It's a whole nother marketing thing.
Avenue.
And then Climb Fund and Community Works, they're here, aren't they?
Yeah, you have an office, there's an office, I think, for, one or two of them.
I use my presence to be nosy. Since I'm already in the building, I'm like, their office people. I know I walk by their office.
Yeah, for sure.
For Community Works, and I can't remember which one of them I got the long time. I think it was Community Works, but that was like pre-COVID, and it was just a little micro one. But I know that they're official here.
I have we talk about all these different webinars and all the stuff dealing with business, but really it boils down to, like, they have a solid business plan, but you can have a business, but you need the customers. So I think going back to the basic of offering a great product, a fair price, and getting customers in business. You go to all these workshops, and you have a business that don't have the clients, you don't have a business. So, huh?
You gotta have it.
Yeah, you gotta have it. So think about that. Just think about what you're talking about. The same thing is that customer service, number one, a great product, number two, a solid business plan, and going to the basics. All this other stuff is, like I say, we talk about, is just flawed. We need customers.
Well,
You got, first of all, have a great product and great customer service to even do it.
But you got to do all the other stuff to be able to support those things. Because if you want a great product, that product does not exist without great service. Because I
and
go
great
into
marketing.
great marketing because everybody doesn't know you, and everybody doesn't, and everybody's not going to be your client.
That's right.
So you have to understand who is that client.
That's right. Starting from
And
basic
starting from those basic steps, we're building out this machine
That's right.
that can bring us clients.
Right.
But without understanding the very basics of those things, you are spinning your wheels and like literally running in place.
That's right. So start with saying that basic of the tier of it. And like I say, a lot of us, we don't show up on time and we don't do great customer service, but we want customers. That's not the way it works. You have to have a good, solid reputation.
How many of you have a plan?
Yeah. Plan.
How many of
Yeah.
That's great, because most people think that plan is a four-letter word, and they don't want to do it. And I've had clients who come to me time after time with, does this idea need a plan? Yes. Well, how about this idea? No, all your ideas need plans.
They can be basic. I think it's too big and
Well, they don't have to be crazy.
Right.
If you use Canvas or something, you put it all on one page, right?
That's right.
There's a lot of ways to do it, but most people don't do it. And I think what Dad's is saying is that you gotta have that. Here you are, this is going to be your business, this is going to be your life. And what's better to plan what you're gonna do with your life. But, you know, is it gonna be fun? Is it gonna be happy? Something you're gonna enjoy doing? Or is it gonna be work? It's your choice. I'm sorry.
That's all right. You guys who've been here for a while remember the Dollar and the Dream series?
Yes.
What is a business plan? Do you have one? Was part of the educational series that
again anyway.
That we put on, and that was the reason why I came up with that. Because I learned the hard way what it is. An idea and a plan go way. Absolutely two
Well,
different
I
things.
think you're absolutely right. That, you know, you have an idea.
Yes.
Until you start putting it on paper, it's a hobby.
Well, you don't even know if it's a good idea.
Oh,
It
it could be just a bad idea.
Not only that, but a business plan is a formal document. It's not something that you come up. It has steps to it. Has
You say formal, I want to say living document.
Yeah.
Because
It's a working document.
it's a constant work and in progress work, because as your business evolves and grows, that plan should
Well,
evolve.
my plans were always dog-eared, pages ripped out, copy stained, rewritten 2 or 3 times a year. If you were doing it right, because everything changes.
The words of the wise man. Everybody has a plan.
So they get hit in the mouth.
When life slaps you,
Well,
let me say this real quick. There are enough different types of business plans out there that you can do an abbreviated business plan. You don't have to spend 3 weeks writing one. Just have a plan. Put a plan together. And it's a couple of pages. The short one I love is a couple of pages. And it's on the Small Business Administration website. It's one of their templates. Yeah, I think it is.
I know one of them have a template.
Well, and using AI, is anyone using AI to help word it? Chat GPT? It helps you word it too, which is a great tool.
Yeah, and if you are not one of those people that like can just spit out that verbiage and figure out what works, yes, ChatGPT is going to be excellent for you. It's going to take some of the pressure off.
Yes.
Because it's going to, this will work, and I can go in and reword it and change it and do what I need to do. But I think what we're more than anything, just don't be afraid to put it down. I think people are afraid to put their plans on paper because they feel like it's convicting them, and I have to do this thing. Yes, it's a concrete thing.
Yeah, you're basically putting, it's casting jello. It's not casting concrete.
Yeah.
It's your business.
And
you can do whatever you want with it.
Absolutely.
And just because you put it down on paper doesn't mean you can't change it or modify it.
Okay.
And here's the thing, you're 40.
Let me give a quick before you go too far.
Yes.
Don't write it. You know, the marvelous thing about these phones and these computers is there's a dictation button.
There is. There is.
You will find talking it out is a lot easier.
That's a good point. It's a very good point.
I write for a living. I like typing. I grew up trained on the typewriter, so that's me. But I tell as many people as possible, if you're not a writer, hit that dictation button and answer the questions on the business plan by talking it out. And it will transpose it for you, and you will be done a lot faster. Some of y'all talk a lot faster than me. So y'all should be done in half an hour.
You know, and send it to yourself.
Yeah. But let's use technology, not only ChatGPT, which is a great tool, but also just talk it out. You know, Memo is on your, well, I don't know on Androids, but on Apple phone, there are like 3 applications for recording stuff. So come on and get,
I just wanted to say that I started working with Robyn last year, and it was the worst experience of my life. Because it made me.
she's right here.
No, she's still sitting.
I ended up in tears because it made me sit down and think about the widgets and the cost, and actually the way that I was going, I was going to be in negative numbers. And that was going to be really, really bad. So I have had to really pivot and think about being creative and doing the hard work to try and see if this is actually a viable business.
And some of us need part-time jobs. You know, we try to learn business. You need something to work until you get built to that, I think, sometimes.
But Jay said something last week, and it was brilliant, and I really think for this audience it needs to be said again. If you are going to ask for help, listen and be open to take the advice. How often you give advice and folks want to come back and fight and push against it?
It's like you asked.
Then why'd you ask?
That's right.
These folks are here for us.
That's right.
If you're going to seek them out, then first thing you do is have a talk with the person in the mirror and say, I'm going in here to learn. I've already screwed it up myself. I'm asking them for help. They don't fail us. What happens so often is we don't like what we hear. So, Jay said it last week about people being hard-headed. That's part of it. It's one of the reasons. You're getting great advice in this room. You get great advice in there, down with them. You get great advice at the SBC and SCORE. You get great advice. Tom's class was freaking brilliant. Yeah. And to see folks just ignore what they're being taught, I can't understand this. Because none of this was around when I started my agency. I needed somebody to hold my hand. Y'all got to listen. And that's not an indictment. I know you're the smartest person in the room. But you may not be the most experienced.
But you need to keep your options open too.
Yeah.
Right.
Because there's a point in time in your business planning where you do this. Right? What could my business be?
Yeah.
All right. Now, when I get down here, this is what I want it to be. That's what you got to get snake-eyed on that. One of the best examples was a company that operated out of here, very well-funded, $6 million funds. They were going to revolutionize the pharmacy industry, the pharmacological industry, because they were going to redo the way pharmaceutical companies make a pill. Okay, right? Because it's all done on the basis of mixture and everything else, and assay value and all this other stuff. So we're gonna change that. We're going to use optics, photo optics, and everything else. We're going to do all this, the happy stuff. We're going to do it, and they were just like this. They stayed, but the customers were wanting something more like this. They went to pharmaceutical industry. Pharmaceutical industry said no. But we don't want anything to do with it. We like the way we do things right now. We're not going to change. Okay? So they dead in the water until the dog food place out here on I-26 going to Charleston built and bagged several 100,000 pounds of undercooked dry dog food. It was cooked on the outside and was spoiling in the middle. They killed 150 dogs across the country here, and it just shut this down. Big company. They ended up revolutionizing the dog food industry with this stuff because they could do the same thing. They could use the lasers and tell whether or not the food was fully cooked. All right, made millions of dollars in dog food, but it's a long way away from the pharmaceutical industry where they started because the opportunity knocked on their door and they were able to open up enough to see it. What you start a business with today may not be what you end up with tomorrow.
And one of the biggest things, I think one of the biggest benefits that we bring, kind of what you're talking about, is we are not emotionally involved with your business, right? You bring a lot of emotion to your business, right? But we're very, hands up. Does that make sense?
Yeah. Nobody wants to hear
We're an unbiased opinion. We're just bringing facts.
Looks like a lizard.
So you got to remember. So taking our advice is like we're not emotionally tied to it. That makes sense.
And that's good that you guys offer the business plan, because I contacted the women's business so that they don't often help them with the business plan.
Oh, shit.
They said,
When I was there,
really? Yeah, they don't.
Because they give you, they have access to a live plan, and live plan actually helps you put in the information and it drafts the business plan for you. So.
And then also, I think.
Well, there's a certain amount of knowledge. I think there's a certain amount of knowledge you have to have in order to put together a business plan.
Oh, I'm sorry.
I can't sit here right now and say I'm going to start a rainbow business next week.
Right.
I have no idea what rainbow business is. I'm just screaming wild ass guessing at the numbers.
Pardon me, so
There's the right time to do that.
One second. We are after 10 o'clock now. It's 10.
That doesn't mean you have to leave this day or that this has to end, but we're no longer holding you hostage.
Yeah, so before that's what I was getting to. So before we dismiss,
Happy New Year.
no, not happy. One of the last question for 1 million cups is
What, Kim?
yeah. So somebody want to ask that last
What
question?
can 1 million cups do for SBDC?
Hello. I have a question for you though, real quick. You talked, and I'm shocked about, in some ways, about your bank experience. Could you talk about a black-friendly smaller bank that I could recommend to my blacks?
Optus.
I have heard some less than favorable reviews of Optus.
The thing is, and this is what people expect, and this drives me crazy because I do know the owner of Optus.
I know two people at Optus.
Yeah. We expect from small banks that they are not using the exact same credit score requirement and financial thing, but they're using the exact same thing. They're just going, we're a small bank.
Mm-hmm.
I haven't found one in Columbia. I think credit unions are going to beat everybody to it, that are going to be more open and more forgiving. But all the small banks that, and I have hit plenty of them. Go ahead.
No, go ahead, finish up the question.
They're holding, they still want you to have a specific credit score that's really good. They still want you to have a history, which is really good. And it makes no sense for Optus. Here's why I'm pissed at Optus, but they're the best option. Optus got $65 million from PayPal to help with the small business community. But the safeguards that are set up for it are like trying to break into old Fort Knox. You know, you want my blood, you want my genetic background, you want, a retina scan, and my proctologist doesn't give an exam like that. But they had the money. And you can look it up or just Google PayPal and Optus Bank, and it's $65 million back a couple of years ago. And they never took that money back. But they haven't reached out because they're running like a big bank. And
I just hear that people can't get a response. So they reach out and it's 2 weeks and they have to come back.
Yeah,
but they're not getting good response from Optus.
They behave once again they're still behaving. You have to demand. You would expect to get a response.
They are a small bank. They are a small bank with small resources, but they want to act and present like a big bank.
Yeah.
And so that's the disconnect, right?
And what I have found, the only thing is once you develop a relationship with someone at Optus, it changes. But you have to force them into a relationship. And I'm not saying that you're gonna love me. Yes, you. But you have to do that with anybody. You have to,
It's about relationships.
if you haven't noticed, I'm a wallflower. So I go in there and go, hey, look, this is what I need from a banker.
Right.
This is what I expect. And that reframes the conversation. Part of what we don't teach small business owners is you ain't always begging.
That's right.
You go in there, we go in so many times like you're doing me a great favor. This is my money.
That's right.
I work hard at it. So we've got to get you guys in the mindset of, you know what? You ain't gonna talk to me like this.
I may be a small business now, right?
Yeah.
But I treat my business as if it is growing because it is, and I'm not doing business with people that don't respect me as a small business.
Yeah.
And so,
All right, under bank, I got two questions. One, why should I lend you money? Two, when will I get my money back?
That's right.
Can you answer those questions?
you should and never.
But now you know how the bank feels.
too, I've done as a business owner. When the client contacted me about a business, right? So they interview me.
Yeah.
Whether I'm gonna be a good fit for them. So anybody that I hire, I interview them.
Yeah, you should.
Yeah, because you know, it's, yeah, it's, you know.
I walked away from a
Yeah,
potential
whether
client.
we're gonna be a good fit for each other.
I walked away from a potential client
Right.
earlier this week because it was not a good fit.
That's right.
Now, we went into a relationship where I was giving up front.
That's right.
I gave you my expertise. I'm giving you my time. I haven't asked you for a dime.
Right.
When it came to trying to figure out scheduling and it, now you're going, well, I need it to be this way. I need it to be this way. Well, you know, I have things that I have going on that are paid and other clients and other things that need to be in consideration. Well, being met with that resistance, well, why can't it be this way all the time? You're like, okay, there's a disconnect here,
That's
Yeah.
right? And if we can't get on the same page about my time is valuable, as your time is valuable, and we need to find a mutual common ground that we can both live on. If we can't get on it, there's no point in starting a relationship in that way. It's because it's just going to get worse, right?
And really and truly for these, going into these banks, I'm going to say this, and it's just learn to give people nosebleeds. I mean, you just bottling, you just want to hit people. No, what I'm saying is I go above your head so fast, your nose gonna bleed.
That's right.
I've trained the people in my circle when we are out and about and I get bad service. They know I don't even deal with this person anymore.
We out.
You know, they're looking at my best friend Kevin, who's helping me with one of my businesses. He looks at me, he looks at people and go, "Oh Lord, you have no idea where this goes." Because see, the internet now gives me access to your corporate office.
I think one of the things that we don't do as businesses, I'm sorry.
I don't know if it's going to be helpful for anybody else, but what led me to score and not have a panic attack was to start off with my mission statement for the business plan. Because I literally was freaking out. Like, I don't know what. I can clearly talk. And I was an English major at one point, but I was like, okay, I don't know how to say this. Like, I don't come from an entrepreneur family. Both of my parents were just normal 9-to-5 workers, hospital employees, welders, whatever. I don't know how to say all this kind of stuff. And then coming from the military, we have written out business plans. The military is a big old written out strategy plan. They just don't tell us until after it's already in. We don't know. We didn't get to read it, but I was freaking out. That's how I ended up going right across. I ended up meeting with the person who ultimately became my mentor from SCORE across the hall, is because that mission statement part. Like, then you're able to build up. And my business plan ain't nothing but like 3 pages now. But at some point it's ballooned up to 15.
To add on to what you're talking about is that you needed someone to help you be accountable, and the same thing for businesses. As we go out and do business with other people, we have to hold them accountable, because if you don't, then the next small business is going to come in and they're going to think that they can bulldoze that business the same way that they tried to bulldoze you. So when the bank called the cops on me, I sat there and I did not shirk and leave and run. No, we sat here and then at the end of it, I said, now I want to withdraw all of my funds. I want to close this account. Oh no, now I'm getting calls from people about my experience. Now we want to talk about how we can better serve you, right? Because when you let people know, one, I ain't for the, okay? You can have them with somebody else, right? But over here, we're not playing those games. I understand that me as a customer, my business as a customer, has a certain amount of value to you. And you know what travels more than anything else?
Word of mouth.
Bad word of mouth. If I tell people this story over and name your bank, how many people are going to be like,
Bad news can travel the world before good news has a chance to put its tennis shoes
Listen,
on.
if you get food poisoning from a restaurant, you will tell people you don't even know on the street.
Don't eat at such and such.
Get a great meal, and you'll sit on that secret forever.
I don't know, man.
I don't need all y'all crowding up in here.
I like my little booth in the back. Yeah. But then you're upset when the place closes down.
Yeah.
One of the things that we mentioned it earlier, and everybody needs to make sure you get one of our cards, but the time, all right? If you're looking at any kind of transaction with the bank, you need to build that time into your time schedule.
Yes.
You're not gonna be able to go in on Friday and have money in your hand on Monday.
No.
It's not happening. And if you're starting a business with a storefront in Columbia, you need to have the time in there for the zoning. You need to have the time in there for the permitting. You need to have the time in there for the contracting. You need to have, because what happens is people say, I got $10,000 stake money. I'm driving a stake in the ground today. I'm starting my business, and they start spending money with an anticipation of traction at some point downstream when money starts coming in instead of going out all the
Your
time.
emergency
And
is
then
not
you
somebody
end
else
up with
with
6
fire
years later.
alarm.
You're bankrupt before you
Tom,
start.
I got the call yesterday at 5:30. A friend of mine, I won't do business with him because I know what kind of client he's going to be. But he called me because he's having a website built for his business. It has to have e-commerce, tracking for shipments and everything. You're going to be taking in people's credit card information, banking information, all of this. And he goes, why is it going to take more than a week?
Oh, jeez.
And I said, because they're protecting you. I mean, I didn't even help him find a web design company. I told him, they are protecting you from your dumb self. You're going to put up a website with no security, and people's banking information is going to be on there. And he couldn't understand. He was like, well, they could do a template. I was like, look, every template has a back door. If you're going to be doing the volume of business you're talking about doing, don't take the time. Because if that back door is too big, all your personal information you gather going right out. It ain't going out the front door. So after I'm having this conversation with him, he goes, okay. And I fault the web design company. He goes, well, why didn't they say that to me? And I said, well, first of all, they don't know you the way I know you. I know you ain't the patience of anything. So you're thinking this can be done immediately. This is why you're a friend and not a client. But there's a process to this, and it needs to be vetted out. We, as small business owners, come to people expecting things to happen now.
Amazon mindset.
But some of this stuff has to be built out. He can shoot you a commercial in a day. He can write you a marketing plan in a day. But you know what? A week or two might be better. It might be more detailed and clear. But what we're always on this that Amazon speed of instant.
That's right.
If I bake it, I don't trust anyone who can bake a cake in an hour. I was raised by a baker. I was married to a baker. If you put that cake in the microwave, I'm out. You know, a big cake. I ain't talking about some little snack. Yeah, some things just take time. You know, I'll get nasty on this. We don't chitlins. Despise them, but there's a reason why folks say, who cooked the chitlins? Because they never give it to the impatient person.
No.
That person that want to take shortcuts and do stuff, no, then I can't eat this.
Clean it at your house.
Yeah. Serve it at your house.
Serve it at your house too.
Because, once again, things take time. You're building a business, and we see this almost weekly. Folks get up here and expect things to change instantly. And it doesn't for a small business.
With my students starting out in video and photography, well, the first thing I teach them is the production model of good, fast, and cheap.
Oh yeah,
And I tell my students, you tell your potential clients you can only have two. We're in the business of serving. But you any two sides of this triangle you can have anytime you want. You can have it good, right? You can have it fast, but it ain't gonna be cheap. Or we change the wording of cheap to affordable. Affordable. Right? So But we are constantly teaching people, and this is what I tell them: you're constantly teaching people how to treat your business, and how you're going to treat them. And so, in that communication with clients, you have to clients and vendors. So let me say both of them. You're teaching people how you expect to be treated, what you're going to do in return, and then you are. And this goes back to branding and marketing. You are living that out. Yeah. If your customer service.
I didn't understand that.
And sometimes they just do not understand.
But I want to reiterate something. When I go to the bank, and this is to the opposite, when I go to the bank, I already have a set of things I'm preparing me for. See, it's my responsibility to go to the bank and communicate how I want to be treated. Okay, I filled out the application for a loan. I understand it's going to take. I need a time frame. I get a commitment from folks up front. How long does this process take?
Well, if you have your ducks in a row, it's going to be 6 to 8 weeks before we even get into underwriting, and then after that, it's going to be another 4 weeks to 6 weeks before we get a decision back. Blah blah blah.
And so
I get loans from the bank as well, but I have real estate, so I put it up as asset. So maybe we can have a session on that, how to get the loans from the bank, put it as asset. And I can actually show you my paperwork, so it ain't just
I think part of that is that some people, most of the people that we're dealing with, I think that's a good session, but most of the people we're dealing with don't have access. So that's the frame that we're dealing with. Now you can teach us how to get some of these assets, and then we can have a conversation.
Board meeting at 6.
If you walk around this way,
I just want to make sure that they got paid.
Thank you. You too, Tom.
No, that's my cousin. He's